recording, so if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. We're gonna talk a little bit about the presentation first, and then we'll go into Q&A. So a lot of you have heard about Google reviews. You know you need them. Businesses need them. 98% of the business or the buying decision has been made before somebody even walks into your store or contacts you. So if I'm looking for your local services, then I'm going to be searching on Google first, probably. So say my pipes break, I'm going to be looking for a plumber near me. So plumber near me. And up pops the first couple things here. This is called a Google search engine results page. They're called SERPs. The layout of the page changes depending on what you're searching for. And so Google already knows that I'm looking for a local service provider by the layout of this page. At the very top up here, section here, these are what's called local service ads. These are pay per call or pay per message. They're not the pay per click typically. Those are other SERP type pages. And so those only appear for some types of searches. So when you're looking at, say, something else that you're looking for that's not a local provider, then you can it'll change depending on that. The second thing that Google's going to show me is the map results. Google knows that this is really what people are looking for. They're looking for some location near them for this type of search query. So how do you get in the top spots on the Google Map search results? And the first thing you can see here is the number of reviews that are not necessarily. There's some that have a lot of reviews and some have not that many reviews. And if I click through to the map itself, if I do click into, well, let's go to the map here. So if I click on more businesses, then I get the entire list. Now, what we found and what nobody knows exactly why different businesses are listed in the order they are, except for a couple different factors. It's not the number of reviews and it's not the ranking of the reviews. It's by how many reviews you've had recently and how many have been replied to. So it's kind of the area that most business owners are not aware of. And that's what we really want to focus on here when we're talking about how to stand out on maps and how to get a better placement on the search engine results page. There's a couple ways to do that. One of the ways that we do it is we have a QR code that we will print out, and then we'll have that QR code in your business location, and it's designed to be placed close to your cash register where people have already bought something or they're a happy camper or happy customer. So they look like this, and they will direct the person that aims their camera at the QR code is going to take them directly to a place where they can review your business online. So it shortcuts the process, because what we're really trying to achieve here is we really want to make it easy for people to review your business. And sending a follow-up email or text or things like that. Text works a little bit better than emails. Emails don't work very well at all. But what we do find is that if we build a QR code and we print it out and we place it on your business location, and we train the staff to make sure they know how it works. And then as people check out, then they will get more reviews. So we want those reviews coming in on an ongoing basis. So that's, if you have a Google business, everybody should be using their Google Business Profile. So for example, if you Google your own company name, you're gonna see your own Google Business Profile. So if I go Softwired here, and then up pops this little section up here, and then when we go to reviews here, you want to get more reviews, and then Google gives you this little link right here. So this is what you want to copy when you build your QR code. You want to have this link actually it bypasses the Google Business Profile, and it takes the person directly to the spot where all they have to do is give you 5 stars and a little bit of a comment. And so I do this. And then what I do is we have a QR code builder where I just put it into our QR code builder. And there's lots of QR codes out there. So if I create a QR code, I just give it a name. And I'm going to do a review link. And this is, again, this is just how ours works. We want to go to Google. And we're going to give it this link. And boom, we got our QR code. Then all we do now is we just print it out, laminate it, do whatever you want, and then we have it on the desk in front of people, so that it makes it easier to get those reviews. We have so that's primarily the method that we're using to help you get reviews. We have other ways of requesting reviews through emails and stuff like this, but this is really a really effective way to get those reviews. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up for questions. Feel free to unmute, and I'll just be happy to answer your questions. I see Corey's here. He's off mute. Do you have a question, Corey?
Not really. This all sounds pretty good. The QR thing. I've been in businesses where they have it on their business cards, and they always hand me one and say, "Hey, when you have a minute, fill out the review."
Right, exactly. Are you doing any kind of QR code review requests in your business?
No.
Okay.
I've got a review link on my website, so when they scroll to the bottom, there's a place they can hit and leave a review.
Right.
And then I can also email that to the client directly after they've paid and the job is done and they're happy. Then I can forward that. But I have, my website's kind of new, so I've sent 5 out, and that was a month ago.
Okay.
So nobody's reviewed yet, so I'm thinking they didn't get it. So I'm gonna email them personally again.
Yeah. Well, the thing that we find with business owners, and we all do it, it's sort of like going to the gym. You know, it takes discipline to continue to ask for those reviews, and having a system to be able to have it automatically happen in the background is really effective. And once, you know, even the staff will kind of forget, and once in a while the nice thing is, if you have a QR code generator that actually can track the scans, which ours does, then we can see how many times somebody's scanned one particular QR code. And so that is helpful too. But this is just one area that we found that people are sort of forgetting about. And so that's why we wanted to highlight this particular aspect of local business. All right, anybody else have any questions? Want to come off camera? Feel free, either one. You don't have to be on camera.
I'll give it a shot. Would it be wise to include a QR code in your signature line on your email? For reviews here.
That's not a bad idea. It does make it more, since your signature on your email is seen by a lot of people, and that's another thing that I think a lot of business owners forget about, is they don't remember that their signature is seen by a vast amount of people on a regular basis. And so having a QR code, that's something we haven't tried, but I think it's a great idea.
Okay, I may try that. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else have a question on the QR codes, how to generate them, how to get them, how to deliver them?
Yeah, so we can make our own, basically. Is that what you showed us earlier?
Yes, and if you want, I'll just if you email me after this webinar, I'll send you one. We can generate one for your business, people that need them. There's a lot of QR code generators out there, other tools too. Okay, anybody else? Any questions? I know there's a lot of questions probably, but maybe not exactly coming to mind quite yet. Again, just to review really quick, review the reviews. You want to send the link you want to send, you can only access from your Google Business profile. If you send the link to your search result, then you don't go directly to the review of your Google Business profile. Is that correct? Does that make sense to everybody? Did you see how I got there? That just shortcuts everything. And so again, the important part of reviews is that you're regularly getting them and you're regularly replying to them. So if you're going to ask for those reviews, make sure that you're paying attention to them. And if you're using some other software platform or some other system, we have that where you can reply in the system, but you can also do it just directly on Google Business Profile. Google does measure that. They do measure how long it takes you to reply. It isn't really what the reply is or how you should reply. And as a business owner, negative reviews are another area that can be difficult to work on. Usually there's certain caveats or different ways to respond that you want to. What we recommend is just having some sort of offer of trying to resolve the issue with the person that's given negative reviews. But this is about getting reviews. And anybody else have a question while we're here? Chris, I think you are the only one that hasn't asked yet. You can come off mute. Anybody else? Okay, well, I'm going to try something here. I'm going to share our QR code in another share. And if you have your phone with you, well, where'd it go? Had this all set up. Well, I guess I don't have it here. I had oh, here it is. Okay, so I'm sharing our QR code view. So if you could give us a review, let us know how you enjoyed this Lunch and Learn. We're doing them every week at this time. The next one, we always decide the week of what topic we're going to do, and you can follow up, email me directly if there's anything you want a presentation on. The first two, this is the third one in the series. The first one was about funnels. The second one was about AI chat, and we'll keep going all the way to the end of the year with these weekly Lunch and Learns. So anybody else?
Is there a way to get recorded copies of those you've done? This is my first one, so.
Oh, okay. Yes, we have recordings. They're on the YouTube channel. I will share that with you.
Okay.
Follow up. Feel free to reach out to me directly. My email is tony@softwiredweb.com. And if you do have your cell phone and you're sitting in front of a computer, take a look at our QR code there and see how it should link you right to the place to go just to leave, hopefully 5 stars. But we just want some feedback on these Lunch and Learns and how you guys are doing and using the information.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else? Steve pointed out in chat that you do have to be logged into Google. They do require that you have a Google account. That's how Google tracks that the reviews are actually legitimate from a real person. Just FYI. Thanks, Steve. Anybody else on the how to get Google reviews? Feel free to reach out again. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and we'll go ahead and just